every Super Bowl week, we come out of it just thinking about the whole week together, right? And the hype for one team usually goes through the roof. And when that team that does get the hype most loses, and we just drop them like a hot potato, like, say, the Cincinnati Bengals. That's basically what happens when you lose a Super Bowl. Then you go back throughout the week and you're like, yeah, we did talk a lot about that. And you assess a lot of things that did happen. And then there's usually one story that stands out and say, what the hell was that all about? And sometimes that story keeps going on and on and on. And it appears we have this year's candidate for that. It was 1 week ago at this moment, I think. Dan Patrick was on the set at this very moment. 1 week ago at this very moment. When you're like, hey, Rich, something's going on with Kyler Murray's Instagram. And it was Kyler removing every photograph from his Instagram and the Cardinals from his bio and leaving up just two photographs, one of him with fellow Oklahoma Sooner CeeDee Lamb celebrating in a Pro Bowl, and then him as a college player. Everything else gone. And it was just like, what's up with that? What's up with that? And then it was just like, what's up with that? I mean, you can't, and it's just got to be about the money. It's got to be about money. He wants a new contract now. He doesn't want to wait another year. He wants it now. Because whenever, what nature abhors a vacuum, so we fill it with what we think it is, and usually that vacuum's filled with money. And his agent says no comment when asked for comment, just lets the whole Instagram cleansing stand. Obviously the way that the seasons have ended have been terrible. They were the last remaining undefeated team this year. Yeah. And they were 2 games up on the eventual Super Bowl champion Rams. And got absolutely smoked out of the playoffs by the Rams. It was an embarrassing performance. Embarrassing on every stretch. It was just not even close. That thing was a wrap from the moment Stafford and the Rams came out of the tunnel. And then the Cardinals' Instagram tried to have some fun with it. Whichever millennial ran this one up the flagpole. Because this wasn't just done. This wasn't going rogue. This had to have been approved by somebody.
It was tremendous.
So the Cardinals then took everything off the page that they had and kept up the same Pro Bowl photograph that Murray had put up. But instead of the shot of Murray as a Sooner, they replaced it with Murray as a Cardinal, smiling, because he's one of theirs.
That's draft night.
That's draft night, right? They have since put everything back.
Yeah, everything's back on the Cardinals' Instagram.
And so, we even said that was what you said. TJ, you appreciated it for the trolling level, right?
Yeah, that was great.
And I'm like, well, it's not just trolling level. It's kind of like wink and a nod. Everything's fine. We think you're great. Nothing to see here. We're just having fun with it. And until somebody said something to Chris Mortensen that Chris decided to tweet because I'm sure it was told that it was accurate, and he went ahead and did it. Chris Mortensen tweets out Super Bowl morning. The odd vibe between the Cardinals and Kyler Murray is indeed alarming. Murray is described as self-centered, immature, and finger-pointer per sources. It's a hell of a per source. Murray is frustrated with franchise and was embarrassed by a playoff loss to Rams and thinks he's being framed as the scapegoat. Then in the thread, where's it headed? Despite the acrimony, the Cardinals expect things to calm down, and Murray is their QB. Select veterans hope to reach Murray on how he handled adversity better. Coach Cliff Kingsbury also is self-scouting where he can provide better alternatives for QB. Well, that's a hefty meal right there. And it led the Cardinals to put out a statement on Super Sunday. Nothing has changed regarding our opinion and high regard for Kyler Murray. We as a team and Kyler individually have improved each year he's been in the league. We are excited to continue that improvement in 2022 and are excited that Kyler Murray is the quarterback leading us. I've been around the block, this National Football League block. Let me tell you what, folks, I've covered 19 of these Super Bowls. 19 of them. Coming up on my 20th season. And I'll tell you what, this thing is far from over. If everybody there thinks they put this thing back in the bottle, you are mistaken. If Kyler Murray is indeed, as Chris Mortensen described, per sources telling Chris, that's got to come from within the house in Arizona. And Kyler Murray is sitting around thinking, who is talking to Chris Mortensen about that? Who is it? Who's looking at me saying I'm immature and a finger pointer? And I'll tell you what, sometimes Kyler comes off of the field after he's been sacked or he's been hit or he's thrown something incomplete because he's been rushed or he's rushed to throw. And his body language, I have to say, on occasion, his body language makes Jay Cutler look like a happy camper. And he doesn't seem to hide it. So when you hear this sort of stuff, it kind of does actually fit what you see.
Sometimes.
It does fit what you see sometimes. But if I'm Kyler Murray, I'm like, who is saying that? Is it the coach? Is it the GM? Is it the owner? Who is that? Saying that veterans are trying to tell him how to better handle things? But the coach is self-scouting, everybody. Coach is self-scouting to give him better options. Like who? DeAndre Hopkins? AJ Green? Zach Ertz? James Conner? Those seem like Super Bowl type options to me. And that might be the scapegoating he feels. So somebody is jibber-jabbering. I told you. What did I tell you about this league? What have I told you? Everybody talks. And Chris Mortensen felt very, very safe and hit and send on that. This is so far from over. This is, mark my words, far from over. New league year, a month from now, and this thing may go quiet and dark over the next 2-3 weeks. Don't buy it, folks. There's something up. Now, when it's all said and done, he does have contract years, and is he going to show up or not? Because the Cardinals will have the leverage. Just ask Aaron Rodgers who has leverage in these types of things and who then eventually shows up. So they're going to have to either show him the money or show him who's jibber-jabbering to put this in the bottle shortly. Because this thing's going to keep going on in the meantime. Put up that tweet one more time. Just think about it. You're Kyler Murray, and you see on Super Sunday what's going on. And that means Mort went to somebody on his side. He's frustrated with the franchise. You should be embarrassed. That was an embarrassing loss. Thinks he's being framed as a scapegoat. I don't know. I'll be honest. Who was the scapegoat coming out of that? I think Kingsbury took it. He took the biggest broadside. People were wondering if he's going to even have a job. You came in here talking about a tweet, and you had all of the season long. I mean, a season in and out of his college days to the professional years, of the way that it's been a collapse one after the other from midseason on.
Yep.
I thought Kingsbury took it in the chops. I didn't come out of that building thinking Kyler Murray stinks.
Well, he stunk on that game.
But he was
pretty bad.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something in case anybody thinks I'm a Kyler hater based on what I'm saying right here. That guy was running for his life from jump. And there was one moment where Christian Kirk was free. And the fact that he almost hit him, I mean, it was an incredibly difficult throw because he's running to the right and Kirk is running from his right to the left across the hashes, and he damn near hit him. I mean, the fact that ball was even launched in the air from that slight body, 50, 60 yards in the air. The guy has got a cannon arm. Cannon. And he is fast, and he is really good. So I don't think anybody came out of that thinking Kyler Murray's not very good. I think people came out and saying something's missing, and the coach is not dialing it up right here. But for sure, if Kyler Murray is a guy who's now scrubbing his Instagram account, and then he sees on Twitter people talking to Mort and saying this. But his body language does stink sometimes. And you know who does it? The guy who just lost the Super Bowl. That guy, that first overall pick, doesn't seem to be finger pointing. He never comes off the field with bad body language or barking or anything. So maybe everybody does need to self-scout, go back to their corners, and then come back together because they are attached to the contractual hip unless somebody is going to demand out and make it uglier. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.